What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pub Sports Radio and welcome to the Draftkings Picks and Prediction Show. We have UFC Kansas City here. Should be an interesting card, 14 fights to talk about. As always, we got Weezy, Monk, and Gordo. We'll kick it to you first. Weezy, how you feeling? How's your computer doing as well? And are you looking forward to this card?
Computer's doing all right now. We'll see if it makes it through the show today. Now that everything's plugged into it, it's getting a little loud. But, yeah. It served me well over the years, but it's going to have to be replaced here. But yeah, great card. Really fun fights on this card. We got 14 fights, so there's so many different lineup construction ways that you can go here. Looking forward to chopping it up with you guys.
Yes, sir. We got Gordo. Gordo, what is up? You looking forward to some UFC Kansas City?
I very much am, and for so many different reasons, this is a card I'm very much looking forward to, whether it be just because Max Holloway is in the main event, just because of the DraftKings viability, or also just because it's final season, and I finally get a chance to take a break from the studying to talk to you guys, and that's probably a good thing I'm looking forward to as well. But this is a very, very fun card. Looking forward to move on from an abysmal last week from everywhere from Carl Williams to me trusting an 18-year-old. I hope to make some improvements here, and I think that it'll be a very, very fun show with you guys. Looking forward to it.
Yep, hopefully no fights get canceled after lock this week. But yeah, 2 weeks in a row we've had that happen, so that sucks. Monk, are you looking forward to this card?
Yeah, not too bad of a card here. Got some excitement towards the top with Billy Q, Max Holloway, Arnold Allen. We've got some questionable fights, like why is this happening? Zach Cummings, Ed Herman. We've got some interesting fight. 7 fighters on this card have gone to draws in their UFC career. 2 of them have more than one, so this is going to be an interesting little card.
Yep, for sure. Let's get right into it. And before we get started, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe to Pub Sports Radio. We do go live every Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. All right, let us start with our fight to target, and I will kick this one to Weezy. Weezy, what is your favorite fight to target for UFC Kansas City?
There's so many this week that you can target, but I'll give you the easiest one, and then you guys can take it from there. Just the Holloway-Allen fight. Look, if Allen wins this fight, he's optimal at 7,200. Max Holloway, I think, lands 73 significant strikes a minute, so this guy is just racking up points. This fight's most likely going 5 rounds, I think. Max is the favorite. He throws a ton of volume. His durability is legendary. He scores 3.43 DraftKings points per minute. And even at that rate, in a 25-minute loss, he's scoring over 85 points. If Allen pulls the upset over Holloway at 7,200, he'll surely be optimal, even on a 14-fight card. So this is an easy one to target.
Uh-oh.
Muted.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm going to do it later, too, because I'm muting every time now because my computer's loud.
Dang it. Well, you got me. You got me early on in the show. That's embarrassing. But I'm going to go with no, it's not the co-main event. I'm going to go with what was the co-main event for a second. I'm going to go with Tanner Boser, Cuțelaba. I see this fight playing out a couple different ways, but, I think either way it does play out, it scores well, whether that's Cuțelaba going out there and finishing Boser in the first round, whether that's Cuțelaba going out there and wrestling for 3 rounds, or whether that's Tanner Boser getting a second or third round finish if Cuțelaba completely gasses out. So at these price tags, Cuțelaba 8,400, I think he definitely has a lot of upside. And then same thing with Tanner Boser as well. So it's going to be very heavy on this fight. Monk, what is your favorite fight to target for this week?
Well, it is going to be the co-main event. Billy Q, Edson, Barboza. I mean, 5 out of 6 of these guys' last fights, or 5 of them have gone optimal, them or their opponents. I mean, 4 of those 6, they've scored over 109 points. I mean, Billy Q fights have points flying around them. It's no joke. I mean, he scores 5.5 points a minute in 3-round featherweight fights, 5.13 at distance, and 4.34 inside the distance. 126 per win, 60 per loss, 8.2 strikes a minute. What is there not to like about Billy Q? He also has, according to my standard deviation, the highest floor out of every fighter. So yeah, I love him for cash. I absolutely love him for GPPs. And he's probably my favorite fighter at $8,700 this week.
Yep, love me some Billy Q this week as well. Gordo, what is your favorite fight to target for this week?
Those were my top three, so I'll go down to my fourth favorite my fourth favorite fight to target, which is the Nicolau versus Royval fight. Royval, every time he fights, he brings chaos, a guy who's just killer to be killed. And in doing so, although a guy like Nicolau isn't always the highest pace and best DraftKings scorer, but he's going to force Nicolau to go in there, try to capitalize off those mistakes or be finished in the process. And I do think this is a fight that's going to happen at a very high pace. And in doing so, it does have a lot of volatility and opportunity to score well. So I do think that all the fights you guys mentioned have a ton of upside, but so does this one right here.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think those are four really good ones there. Let's move on to our fight to fade. I'm going to go with the worst fight on the card. Zach Cummings, Ed Herman, plus 135. Fight doesn't go to decision. Maybe they're both so bad that one of them scores well, but I really struggle to get to Zach Cummings at 9,600. Like, I saw that price tag and just laughed out loud. I would never pay $9,600 for Zach Cummings, who he's talking about retirement. Apparently had like a really bad injury. He's been out for 2 years and like 8-9 months. It's been a while. 9,600. There's no way I ever do that. And then, like, if anything, it may be a sprinkle on Ed Herman just because Zach Cummings is coming up a weight class and there's a lot of red flags. But for the most part, I'm just staying away from this fight from a DraftKings perspective. Just a really ugly fight. I feel like it could play out very ugly as well. So pretty easy fade for me. Gordo, what fight are you fading for this week?
Yeah, you're telling me you don't want lots of short fuse Ed Herman at 42 years old, man? Come on. Yeah, that one's one for me as well, but I'm also going to be fading a bit of the I had it circled right here, the Brazil versus Gomes fight. And I know I'm seeing a lot of love for the underdog in Gomes, and I don't really get it as much because I do think that someone in Brazil who is a larger fighter, someone who does have the striking advantage, she's able to keep it on the feet. And although she does have her own takedowns of her own right, I feel like the path of least resistance is to strike and exploit that horrible striking defense of someone like Denise Gomes. So at $9,300 in a 15-minute kickboxing affair, is she going to have the volume to put up enough scores to beat someone like a Holloway, a Nicolau, or someone like that? I don't necessarily think so. And if I do think she wins this fight at a high clip, hard for me to get to the dog. So that is one I'm going to be fading there as well. However, I do agree with your obvious answer there on Herman and Cummings.
Yeah, Weezy, what fight are you fading this week?
I'm going to give you Jacoby versus Murzakanov actually this week because Azamat is just extremely low volume. He's about as low volume as it gets, and he sucks his opponent into that pace. And even though Dustin's a pretty high-paced fighter, there probably won't be any wrestling in this fight. I can see Jacoby winning by decision, but his output will probably be less than normal to account for how explosive Murzakanov is. Murzakanov kind of stays in that sideways stance. He stays way out and he explodes in. You really have to be defensively responsible against this guy. Azamat doesn't really wrestle. Dustin doesn't really wrestle. I could just see this being like very Shamil Abdurakhimov-esque, just a very low volume fight. And if there's no knockout, yikes, it's gonna be very low scoring. So I think that's a good one to fade this week.
Yep, I agree with that. Monk, what fight are you fading this week?
I'm actually going to be fading the Matheus Nicolau Brandon Royval fight.
Ooh.
I know it's probably a bit dangerous flyweight fights, but these guys score extremely low. And then when you put them together, it's even worse. In their last 7 fights, the winner of those fights has scored over 100 points just once. No one, them or their opponents, has made the optimal lineup. Average of just 5.64 points per minute when you put them together. So there are no points being scored here in 3-round. Let's see, where was it? 3-round flyweight fights. Royval getting outscored by 2 points a minute. And then on inside the distance, he's getting outscored by 3.5, almost 4 points a minute. But then Nicolau averaging in his, 6 wins in 3-round flyweight fights, 81 points per win. That's it. Both guys give up a ton when they lose, but generally speaking, but I think this one goes to decision. I think it's pretty low scoring. I like Nicolau a lot in this fight, and I think he wins and does not make the optimal lineup. At 9,100, you want me to roster a guy that averages 81 points? I really don't think so. And Royval, dude is a wild man. Who knows what he's going to bring? He did get outscored in a win. He won a fight, I think it was against Bontarine. He got outscored in a win. That's after the 30-point decision that he got. So neither of these guys score well at all. Neither one of them's making the optimal lineup in the past. So give me a big fade on this fight.
Well, very interesting fade there. I don't know if I can get there myself, but I'm sure a lot of those guys are going to be very high on this week. Fighter to fade, I'll kick this one off. It's going to be Chris Gutiérrez, 9,400. I think he wins this fight. Honestly, you can fade like most of the 9,000s this week, but yeah, no grappling upside whatsoever for Gutiérrez. No finishing upside for Gutiérrez. He's not finishing Munhoz, who's just next level durable. I think this fight does go the distance, and I don't see him even getting close to paying off that price tag. So yeah, really easy fade for me. Chris Gutiérrez, 9,400. I think he wins, but not touching him there. Monk, what fighter are you fading this week?
I'm going with the golden boy, Daniel Zellhuber. He looked like absolute trash against a guy that can barely even, put up 60 points in a win, Trey Ogden. Dude was $9,400 and came in and absolutely shit the bed. That's why that term was created. It was for Daniel Zellhuber's performance last fight. He scored 1.39 points a minute. This is over 15 minutes. 1.45 points a minute inside the distance, 0 points per minute. 1.45 at distance, 0 points per minute inside the distance. Oh, and Trey Ogden, when they were inside the distance, which happened, 58% of that fight, Trey Ogden scored almost 10 points a minute on Daniel Zellhuber. Say what you want about Lando Venata. He's only 3-5-2 in his last, 10 fights, 3-round lightweight fights. This dude is a veteran amongst veterans. This is a fight where I'm just Xing out Daniel Zellhuber, and he's going to have to prove to me why he's even here. Because talk about a Tom Breeze level of just doing absolutely nothing when you get into the octagon. That was Daniel Zellhuber last time. It is a super bad look to lose to Trey Ogden like that. And he's going to have to show me what he can do before I put him in any kind of roster. So big fade for Zellhuber here.
Yep, don't think he can have any worse of a performance, but if that same Zellhuber shows up, he's going to score like 10 points. So we'll see which one shows up this week. Weezy, what fighter are you fading?
It's got to be Zach Cummings, right? At 9,600? Seriously? Fat Cummings is 9,600. A blown-up welterweight who hasn't fought in almost 3 years, who's talking about retirement, who used to train at Glory MMA. Now I think he's over at Factory X. But, dude, I don't know. Are they fucking with us on that, Gordo?
It's not pretty.
Has the whole world gone crazy? 9,600 for Zach Cummings?
He's like minus 200 or some shit.
Dude, he's more than that.
Jesus.
I don't know what's happening here. We don't bet against fighters, right? We bet on fighters. So if you're going to pay up for 9,600, get somebody that's good. Not Zach Cummings, not a guy that went tooth and nail with Alessio Di Chirico for 3 rounds and only won the fight because he landed a head kick with 1 second left.
Yeah, just super, super easy fade this week for Zach Cummings. I'd be shocked if he went out there and paid off that price tag. Gordo,
what's his ownership going to be like 5?
Probably not. I'd be shocked if anybody wanted this guy in his lineups, but we'll see. Gordo, what fighter are you fading this week?
Yeah, I got to go the same. And Weezy, not only did he just barely scrape by against Di Chirico, but that was 3 years ago, before the injuries, before the surgery, before being bedridden, before going up a weight division. As much as you want to see a guy go out there and do well in his retirement fight, most often they don't. And I think this is truly one where it's so hard to go up there and get someone at 9.6 that there's no point of me talking about anybody else, really. He is someone I'm looking to fade. I hope he does well in his final fight, and they're giving an opponent who he can do well against. It's just you cannot trust him, nor at this price tag or anything else, but I wish him the best.
Yep, what a fight. My goodness. All right, moving on. Favorite dog. We'll start with you, Gordo. What is your favorite dog for UFC Kansas City?
Oh, sorry about that. I almost pulled a mute there. For my favorite dog of the card, I'm going to go with, so many options here. Sorry about that. I had it pulled up. Let's go with Brandon Royval. We talked about this here, 7.1. I already talked about it in my fight to target. And I know Monk's not going to agree with me. He hasn't been the best scorer, but I do think in a spot like this where he's going to force his opponent to fight at a pace he doesn't like to fight, at a pace where he's not used to fighting, he's going to be able to open up some opportunities to succeed. And I think that this is a spot here where he's not always going to be necessarily the largest minute winner, but if he is going to win this fight, it is going to come with a very high score. I think that if we look at all these underdogs down here, he is one of the ones with the highest ceilings, in my opinion, because his ability to capitalize and thrive off this chaos. And he's someone with a lot of upside as an underdog for me. So he is someone I'm looking to target down at the underdog price tag.
Yeah, for me, it's the same thing. It's Royval. That's a pretty good price tag for Royval. 7,100. Nicolau's been finishing both of his losses. Brandon Royval is going to. You serious? I'm doing a stream. Hey, come on.
Stay off my lawn.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, inconsiderate. Brandon Royval is going to go out there. He's going to bring a style that Nicolau is not really comfortable with. Nicolau kind of wants to stay at range, make fights very boring, do a lot of nothing. But Royval is going to bring the fight to him, and I think that's either going to open up Brandon Royval getting hurt and knocked out or subbed, or I think it's going to open up Brandon Royval landing a big shot, getting a knockout or a club and sub. So I like Brandon Royval at this price tag. I think it's going to be an absolute wild fight. 7,100. Weezy, who is your favorite dog for this week?
Yeah, I have Royval down, but I'll give you guys a fight that we haven't talked about yet that I think is like a great fight to target both sides of, and that's the Algeo TJ Brown fight. Both of these guys have piss poor takedown defense, and they both get up when they get taken down. So I could see either one of these guys. I could see both of these guys getting 3 takedowns in this fight. They're both very high paced on the feet as well. Both of these guys averaging over 3 DraftKings points per minute. So I kind of feel like TJ Brown at 7,400 versus Bill Algeo is a really solid underdog play. But the guy that I had written down was Royval, but you don't need to hear it from 3 different people. So,
yep. And then Monk, who is your favorite dog this week?
Well, you won't hear it from 4 people, that's for sure. I'm going to give you Azamat Murzakanov this week. This is a scary play because I've been wrong on Jacoby almost every time I've decided to roster him. So we'll see how that goes. But if Murzakanov can do any kind of wrestling, he shines big time. He's allowing, in 3, let's see, actually... That is wrong. And 3-round light heavyweight fight. So he said 2 of those. He's scoring 3.58 points a minute, allowing just 1.4. He's outscoring his opponents at distance. And I know that's going to be very hard to do against Dustin Jacoby. But inside the distance, 7.14 points a minute. And he's allowing less than 1. Meanwhile, Jacoby, when he does fight in the distance, and it's not that often, it's only 16% of his total fight time, he gives up 8 points a minute, guys. So if Murzakanov can get inside, get some wrestling going, that's his completely obvious path to victory. We could see some rinse and repeat takedowns here with Jacoby being the much bigger guy. But Murzakanov's going to have to not stand at range with this dude. And if he does decide to do some wrestling, I know that is a bit of a question mark, he should have a relatively easy time with Jacoby's 47% takedown defense. So give me Murzakanov as a dog at 7,300.
All right, moving on to our prize picks section here. If you guys have not signed up on prize picks, use promo code PUBSports. And I'll kick this one off here. I mean, I think this is a pretty simple one. I'm going to go with the Max Holloway over 132 significant strikes. This guy lands 7.24 significant strikes per minute. I see this fight getting extended. I think he's going to pretty much easily hit that over and probably within the first 3 rounds, honestly. So yeah, I think that's a little bit too low for a Max Holloway fight, taking that over. Monk, anything sticking out to you this week on Prize Picks?
Yeah, I really like the Billy Q over 95.5 points on Prize Picks here. I'm projecting him for like well over 111 in a win. So I think, like I said earlier, he's one of the more prolific scorers on the card, not named Max Holloway or Ian Cuțelaba. So, and I think he has a great shot to win. So I'd be a fool not to give you Billy Q over 95.5 points.
All right. Weezy, anything sticking out on Prize Picks?
Dude, I got a 3-legger here, and you guys haven't touched any of the 3 legs yet, so I don't even know what to give you guys. But can I give them all 3, Brady?
For Prize Picks?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and here's the one we'll track, though. We'll track Piero Rodriguez, less than 1.5 takedowns. I'm also on Bruna Brasil, less than 1.5 takedowns. She's not a wrestler, and she's way better on the feet than Denise Gomez, so she's going to try to keep that fight standing. I don't see Bruna Brasil getting 2 takedowns. And then Chris Gutiérrez, over 69.5 significant strikes. I love that spot. Look, you could hit Pedro Munhoz in the head with a shovel, and you're not getting him out of there. So that fight's going 15 minutes. And Gutiérrez is averaging, I've got Gutiérrez with 5.81 distance strikes per minute spent at distance. And I've got Pedro Munhoz absorbing 6.27. So at that pace, if you're figuring 6 distance strikes per minute, at that pace, you really only need about 10.5 minutes of distance, and you'll easily cover that. So that's what I'm on.
Yeah, I really like that Brazil one. Like that makes no sense. Like have they ever watched her fight? I'm not sure.
They couldn't have watched her fight if they think that she's going to get 2 takedowns against anybody. They're probably just putting that because Loma Lukbunmi got a ton of takedowns in that fight. But I mean, Bruno Brazil is going to keep that fight standing.
Yeah, and Brazil's also not as handsome as Loma is, so I don't.
It's not even close, man.
No. Gordo, anything you like for Prize Picks this week?
I do like the plays that Weezy put out there too, and I think that the main reason why that prop is set up the way it is because you just wiki cap it. You look at the stats, and Britain Brazil averages 3.14 takedowns just because of her one Dana White Contender Series fight, which is probably why it's set like that. But that's why you got to do the tape. You got to look back and research. But my play for me, you took a Chris Gutierrez over. I'm taking a Chris Gutierrez under. I take it under on his fantasy score. It's set at 90 right now. I don't think he gets over. In all decisions wins, he's never scored over 75 points on DraftKings at least. So he's not someone who's going to go out there, get takedowns. I don't plan on getting him knockdowns here. So in a 15-minute striking affair, give me the under significant. Give me the under in fantasy score.
Perfect. All right, there we go. Yeah, I gave a lot of options for that. All right, let's keep moving on to our favorite GPP play. I'm going to kick this one off. Monk talked about him a little bit. It's Billy Quarantillo for me, 8,700. I think he's getting Barboza at the right time here. Barboza is now 37 years old, getting up there in age, has taken a lot of damage, and as has Billy Q. And Billy Q's not the youngest guy in his own right, but Billy Q's been looking really good lately. I still think he has a lot left in the tank, whereas Barboza, I think he's close to being on his way out. I think Billy might struggle a little bit early. I think he's going to eat a lot of punches with his face and play defense with his face, but I think Barboza is going to get tired from hitting Billy so much in the face. Billy's going to take over as the fight goes on, and Billy gets him out of there in that second or third round, is putting up a very big score. So I think Quarantillo has a lot of upside. I'm going to be playing a decent amount of him this week. Weezy, who's your favorite GPP play this week?
It's Billy Quarantillo. I mean, he's top 5 all-time DraftKings scorers. Him and Jonathan Pierce in this featherweight division put on a pace that's just absolutely it's crazy to try to even deal with that. 5.23 DraftKings points per minute this guy is scoring. It's absolutely nuts. In a 15-minute loss, you're getting over 75 points from this guy. It's absolutely crazy. So you do not leave Billy Quarantillo out of your lineup, whether it's a cash lineup or whether it's a GPP lineup, especially in the GPP because of the upside. If this guy wins, he's optimal every damn time.
Yep, I like it. Right there with you. Monk, who are you liking for a GPP play?
I mean, call me crazy. You can call me a bunch of stuff for this, but I guess I'm going back to Jan Cuțelaba. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a good spot, man. I think he can get back on track. Boser has always been a small heavyweight. Now he's cutting more weight to get down to light heavyweight because shit was not working out for him at light heavyweight. Guys, he's never fought anybody like this, at least in his last 5. He's fought the moves so little, he's basically dead. Andre Arlovsky. Ilir Latifi's not much, doesn't do much more than that. Ovince St. Preux is basically a statue, and Rodrigo Nascimento is nowhere near the footwork that Ian Cuțelaba has. The problem is, and we talked about it last week with Kevin Holland, it's the fight IQ, man. I mean, this guy's 1-3-1 in his last 5. In 3-round light heavyweight fights, he is 5-8-1. But man, when he wins, he really fucking puts it on these dudes. 4.2 points a minute, 7 points per minute inside the distance, and he spends 42% of his total fight time fighting inside the distance. I mean, some great numbers here. When he wins, 110.04. This is, again, just the 3-round light heavyweight fights. His ceiling is one of the highest on the card. When he wins, 4 of his 5 wins over 100 points. And at this salary, that is pretty much guaranteeing you the optimal. It's like 93% of the time 8,400 scores triple digits. They make the optimal lineup. 71 points per bonus points per win. I mean, the guy is DraftKings gold if he can just not die. That's all that we have to count on. I think Boser's a good look for him. I think Cuțelaba could easily finish him in the first round. But if this goes to the second round, I'm going to be having some cold sweats. So give me Cuțelaba, hopefully, to get it done inside the distance. Love him for a GPP play this week.
Yep, I agree with that one as well. Gordo, how about you?
Yeah, Billy Q and Cuțelaba are the GPP plays this week. Let me go down a bit further. More of a reach, but let's take Jillian Robertson as a GPP play as well. I mean, every time she's wins, she's scoring 95, 116, 94, 92, 110, 106. When she wins, it's usually involving takedowns. There's usually a finish in there as well. And I do think that coming down a weight class, if she's able to look good, I do think she has some decent upside in the spot. But I have to agree that Cuțelaba and Quarantillo are the better GPP plays here.
Yep, another good one there. Moving on to our favorite cash play, we will start with Monk. What do you like for cash this week?
I'm going to give you somebody that no one is going to give you, and I guarantee that. It's going to be our first fight of the night, Lucy Pudilova, man. I know she's 1-4 in her last 5. Her only win is to Wu Yanan, but in her last 5 in the UFC, she did go to some other organization. I believe it was the Polish organization, Octagon, with a K. KSW, and got several wins over there. But if you take out these flyweight fights, man, in 3-round women's bantamweight fights, she is 3-2 in the UFC. I mean, she's putting up decent numbers, outscoring her opponents from inside the distance, outside the distance, 90 points per win in those 3 wins. Let's see, scores 49 points per loss. So that's the main reason I like her for cash here, other than the fact she's facing Jocelyn Edwards, who I have no faith in whatsoever. Also, Pudilova, 5.37 strikes landed per minute, 79% takedown defense in these 5 fights. Controls 58% of the grappling time, and 2 of her 3 wins over 100 points, man. So when she wins, she's getting it done, and I think she has a great shot for against Jocelyn Edwards here, and I think she's going to be completely overlooked. So I love Lucy Pudilova for cash, and I'll even have her in some GPPs too, but I do like her for cash as I think she gets this done. 50 points in a loss. What are we doing, man? Put her in your lineup.
All right. I don't know if I will myself, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Gordo, who are you liking for cash this week?
Yeah, there's one name here for cash, and it is the Blessed Express, Max Holloway, $9,000. Don't need much explaining to do. His numbers are off the chart. As a guy who's going to go out there, fight for your money for all 25 minutes or for as long as it lasts. A guy who's going to throw insane volume and really put to test this up-and-comer in Arnold Allen. I think cash-wise, this fight as a whole is one you're going to want a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I'm going to go with somebody who I really like to win this week. It's going to be Rafa García at 9,500. He puts on a pretty good pace, solid volume on the feet. I think he can wrestle as well, and I think he's very, very live for a finish. A very good submission game, and Guida's been submitted like 11 or 12 times. So I think he's safe to not only win, but I think he has some sneaky finishing upside as well against the 41-year-old Clay Guida. Weezy, who are you liking for cash this week?
The best is blessed. Volume, 25 minutes to work with, 3.5 Draftkings points per minute. He's scoring more than that. You know, it's exactly what I'm looking for in a cash play. In addition to that, they don't let you bring the shovel into the cage anymore. So you're going 25 minutes. Win or lose, Max Holloway is going to be in there for 25 minutes, scoring you points. Great cash play at 9,000 this week.
Yep, and let's keep the Max train rolling. I'm going favorite value play for me. It's Max Holloway. I mean, this guy has so much upside from a DraftKings perspective. Just this guy's volume's next level. The volume king. He's 9,000. I would pay 9,600 or more for the guy in a 5-round fight here. I think this does get extended. I think Max Holloway could be live for a late finish, but if this does go the full 25, it's only going to mean more DraftKings points for Max Holloway here. I'm expecting a very, very big score. I think Max Holloway has the highest upside on the slate, and it's really not even close. Give me Holloway here as a value play. Really, really like him at that price tag, and it seems like a lot of you guys like him as well. Monk, who is your favorite value play this week?
I'm going the other side. I like Arnold Allen for some extreme value at 7,200. This dude is almost 1,300 under his average salary. I mean, an undefeated fighter in the UFC. Yes, he's fighting Holloway. 7-3 in 5-round featherweight fights is Holloway. All 3 of those losses are to Volkanovski. I understand he strikes. He throws a million strikes. But these 5-round featherweight fights, he's only scoring 3.85 points a minute, 3.57 inside the distance, and he's allowing 3.87 inside the distance as well. Meanwhile, Arnold Allen gives up 0 points so far inside the distance. This is his 5-round featherweight fight, obviously the last fight. He doesn't score very well. He's only put up over 100, I think, once. And his average is still like 80 points per fight. So you know he's scoring like 50, 60 points. He doesn't have to score a Max Holloway amount of points to make optimal at 7,200. So I'm going with the guy that, I'm going to have a ton of this fight, but I am not counting Arnold Allen out at all. And I'm kind of surprised we haven't talked about him. So I'm going to have a ton of both sides, but I love Allen for some value at that extremely cheap price.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some Allen for sure. Just more Max Holloway for me. Weezy, right? Weezy, who did we go for? Did we get you yet?
Not yet, man. Favorite value play for me, I think Jillian Robertson is a great value play. She's a finisher. You can count on her to follow the game plan. To do what she does best and get the fight to the ground and hunt for submissions. It's important to see her on the scale, though. This being her first cut down to 115, we need to see her making weight and looking good, or quitting early, checking in at 119 and giving you a good flex and a smile on the scale, just saying, like, look, I'm cheating and I'm going to get these takedowns with a little extra weight on my frame. But either way, let's see Jillian on the scale before we lock her in. But Jillian's finished 7 of her 8 UFC wins. High upside, mid-priced option this week. I think she's a pretty good value.
And Gordo, who you liking for some value this week?
Yeah, this is purely based off of potential. And I think that if this guy wins this fight, he has one of the highest ceilings. That's going to be TJ Brown. I'm not thinking this guy's going to win at a very high clip, but if he's going to, it's going to come with 5, 6, 7 takedowns against a guy in Algeo who can be taken down. And although he does have a good get-up game, that only allows TJ Brown to go out there and get more takedowns. We've seen Brown go out there, shoot 6 before and land 6. So I do think he's able to land a few of them early on. And if he's able to keep that cardio up over 15 minutes, I do think he's able to take down Algeo repetitively and score well in the process. So more of an upside value play there.
Yep, don't hate it. All right, moving on to our dart throw. We'll start with you, Monk. Who are you liking for a dart throw this week?
I mean, come on. It's not quite a dart, but you throw a fuse on there. Give me that short fuse, Ed Herman. Why wouldn't it be, man? $6,600. I just watched the Connor clip. Who the hell is this guy? That's what I'm thinking when I look at Zach Cummings. Obviously, I'm no casual. I know who Zach Cummings is. But, man, I sure as shit didn't know he was still fighting. He's never fought at light heavyweight. This dude is like 38 years old. I mean, who knows what's going to happen here? In my opinion, Herman has just as good a chance to win as Zach Cummings does. So the salary's ridiculous here. Give me the low price at 6,600. I mean, he could score 50 points and make the optimal lineup. What a joke this fight is, man. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I actually have Ed Herman as well, just due to the fact that
Cummings, why not?
Yeah, he should be 9,600, and this honestly probably is a coin flip just because both guys are so terrible at this point. So yeah, I mean, 6,600, why not? Weezy, who is your dart throw for this week?
Yeah, I'll give you a great dart throw here. How about a guy that's 0-3 in the UFC and hasn't fought in almost 3 years? Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Phillips is dirt cheap, and Gaston Bolaños is a really bad mixed martial artist, okay? He's a really, really talented kickboxer, okay? But this is MMA, okay? And Gaston Bolaños has not fought a good level of competition overall. We could actually see Phillips wrestle here and use his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt when this fight gets to the ground, where Bolaños is just dreadful. Even if this fight stays on the feet, I could see Phillips having success. He's a really good kickboxer. He's just a different style than Bolaños is. I got a 1-unit bet on Phillips at plus 170. I think he could get a finish here. I mean, Bolaños has been subbed in 2 of his 3 pro losses. He's only 6-3 as a pro, and his best win is a guy I promise that you've never heard of. So I'm going with that. I'm going with Aaron Phillips at 7,000.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't even talked about that fight yet. I think it's another good fight to target.
Yeah.
Gordo, did we get you yet?
No, but we'll keep it short here. It's Ed Herman for me as well. You guys nailed all the points there. So that's all I really got to say is fade Cummings.
3 Ed Herman shots. My goodness. We'll see what happens, guys.
Sounds like something that should be in a bar. It's like whiskey mixed with rum or something terrible.
Aged
shot
whiskey.
Of Ed Herman. Yeah, very aged. Good point.
All right, let's go over the results from last week. We'll give our lineups for this week. Last week, it was terrible. In 4th place was Gordo. He had Carl Williams, who shit the bed, 0. Rob Rosas Jr., 24. Amareem, 29. Ponzinibbio, 17. Joseph Pfeiffer, 96. And then Jorge Masvidal, 23, scoring 191.20. In 3rd place was Weezy with Carl Williams, shit in the bed, 0 points. Rob Rosas Jr., 24. Amareem, 29. Alex Pereira, 19. Rob fought 113. And Masvidal, 23, scoring 210.23. And 2nd place was me with Carl Williams, 0. Rob Rosas Jr., 24. Pfeiffer, 96. Pereira, 19. Rob fought 113. And Masvidal, 23, scoring 276.85. And then in first place was Monk with Carl Williams 0, Rob Rosas Jr. 24, Pfeiffer 96, Pereira 19, Garcia 93, and then Hughes 83. Congrats, Monk. You won this week with 317.
The Amorim dream came to an end on Saturday. Sam Hughes getting it done for me. A couple underdogs here. I don't know what you guys are talking about. What a great week this was for this contest. Thank God we all had Carl Williams, man. Jesus.
Yeah. That was bad. That was that ruined my whole night. And at least it ruined it early, though.
I looked, I was like, I won? How is this even possible?
Oh, my goodness. Well, congrats, Monk. You got the job done no matter
I'll
how.
take it how I can get it. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Current standings, we are 11 cards in. In fourth, we got Monk with 4,161 points. Weezy with 4,263. He's in third. I'm in second with 4,537. Then Gordo is in first with 4,640. I am 102 behind Gordo. Weezy's 377 behind Gordo. Then Monk is 479 behind Gordo. Gordo, you are still in first place. 7 cards in. Congrats.
You know what? 7 cards. It's been
11.
7. Oh, no, it is really, really close though. Isn't that crazy? That's the first time I have come fourth place, and yet I'm only 100 points ahead. We are very close, and everyone's having their good weeks. And you know what? I fell for traps huge last week. There's no excuses, but I'm ready to bounce back, and I'm going to do so with Ed Herman.
My goodness. Are you really?
I'm debating it, actually.
Okay.
Funny enough.
All right. Yeah. I'm definitely going to change my lineup. But this is what I have so far. Give me Max Holloway, Billy Quarantillo, Brandon Royval, Arnold Allen, Rafa Garcia, and Ian Cuțelaba. 99% sure that's going to change. Weezy, what do you got for this week?
Yeah, what I got so far, and I hate it, but it's what I'm going with so far. It's Holloway, Bill Algeo, Billy Quarantillo, Lucy Putilova, Tanner Boser, and Brandon Royval.
All right, Gordo, what do you got?
Just for fun, this will probably change, but I'll throw Ed Herman in there, and Ed Herman is my only underdog of the week. Other than that, I have Billy Quarantillo, Max Holloway, Matheus Nicolau, Jillian Robertson, and Ian Cuțelaba.
I actually really like that. I like that a lot. Monk, what do you got?
I have the exact same lineup as you do.
Garcia,
Holloway, Quarantillo, Cuțelaba, Allen, Royval. I really don't like Royval here, so I'll just probably get him out of there. But for now, I'll keep it the same, and it will probably change before Friday. But I think there's a lot of upside in that lineup.
Yeah,
you can go down 100, Monk, and get one Aaron Phillips out of Head Kicks MMA.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah, I'm definitely probably changing mine. I don't see mine stay the same. But yeah, that's what we got for this week thus far. So we'll do some quick picks, and then we will head out of here. I will kick us off. Give me Max Holloway in the main event. Give me Billy Quarantillo, Dustin Jacoby, Ian Cuțelaba, Chris Gutiérrez, Rafa Garcia, Bill Algeo, Brandon Royval, Zach Cummings, Pierre Rodriguez, Daniel Zellhuber, Bruno Brazil, Gaston Bolaños, and Lucy Putilova. I'm going to go Jocelyn Edwards instead. Weezy, what do you got for this week for quick picks?
I'm going with Holloway, Billy Quarantillo, Dustin Jacoby, Tanner Boser, Chris Gutiérrez, Rafa Garcia, Bill Algeo, Royval for the upset, Ed Short Fuse Herman. We're going with Jillian Robertson, Zellhuber, Brazil, Aaron Phillips, and I'm going with Jocelyn Edwards too.
All right, Gordo, what do you got?
Yeah, we know we're taking Max Holloway in the main event. We're then going Billy Quarantillo. We're then going Dustin Jacoby, Ian Cuțelaba, but I will be cheering for the Canadian, don't worry. Pedro Munhoz as an underdog, Rafa Garcia, Bill Algeo, Matheus Nicolau, Zach Cummings, although Ed Herman's my boy, Jillian Robertson, Daniel Zellhuber, Bruno Brazil, Gaston Bolaños, and Lucy Putilova.
Monk, what do you got?
I'm going Lucy Putilova, Gaston Bolaños, Bruno Brazil. What a fun name to say. Lando Venata. I'm going to go Pieta Rodriguez, Ed Herman, Matheus Nicolau, Bill. I'm going TJ Brown. Rafa, don't call me Rafa Garcia, Chris Gutierrez, Ian Cuțelaba, Azamat Murzakanov, Billy Quarantillo, and Arnold Allen with the big upset in the main event.
Breaking news, Parker Porter is going to fight Braxton Smith at UFC 288.
Braxton
Smith.
Who the fuck are these guys?
I don't know, but hey, We got a Parker Porter fight.
Oh, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Against a guy named Braxton.
All right, there we go. So that's
Braxton
good
better
news.
bring his lunch pail because he's going to be in for a long day.
Especially if Parker Porter gets in mount. You're not getting that ass up off you. That's for sure. But yeah, guys, we did it. A little bit shorter of a show. We got a lot of things going on. But yeah, we're going to cut it off here. Best of luck for UFC Kansas City. We'll talk to you guys next week, and good luck. See you guys.